This is Captain Black, the Hood Conservative. Today's topic, armed New Orleans rapist killed. It's bad enough to be a rapist. It's bad enough to be an armed criminal. Now combine the two into one horrific potentiality, and this is what an unfortunate pair of our fellow citizens faced last night in the Rampart area, part of the urban suburb, we'll call it, trying to grow in the Marigny Bywater area. At any rate, the savage approached these two people, a man and a woman, produced a gun, made them go to a secluded area, and began to sexually assault this poor woman while the man watched. Now, her male companion did something very few men, keeping it real, would do. He attacked this rapist, got the firearm from the rapist, and shot and killed him. I would hope that our politically motivated mayor, and the jury's still out about our district attorney, would not attempt to criminalize this man for doing what many men wish they could do, but few would really have the guts to do. The urban suburb theory is being tested every day as large numbers of white folks, and I don't know the colors of anybody involved, I'm merely going by the demographics of the general area. Large numbers of white folks are moving into extremely violent, extremely unstable inner city areas throughout the country. New Orleans is no exception. In fact, the process has hit warp speed in the wake of Katrina. The juxtaposition of higher income or perceived higher income white people being seen on a daily basis by low income, and in the part of the criminal element, low impulse black observers is not a pretty picture. Against this backdrop, I would like to think that some of our urban suburbanites would recognize this very glaring and graphic fact. You cannot be armed with only good intentions in the face of increasing armed robberies, armed carjackings, armed assaults. You see the pattern here. Bad people in Orleans Parish are armed. Regrettably, it seems too few good people are. And since we're talking about too few, we of course have too few police officers. We have too few measures to increase police morale and manpower coming from City Hall. When your lead approach to violent crime is midnight basketball, episodes like last night are inevitable. If my theory holds true, when the perpetrator is identified, he will probably have an arrest record as long as world-famous Canal Street. This record will probably be filled with numerous incidents where perhaps a sufficiently long period of incarceration could have spared that poor couple the agony they went through last night and the potential agony that they may go through for the rest of their lives. We have to be very clear. New Orleans is an unsafe place. It doesn't matter how much a rich liberal in City Hall and his cronies paint this place as experiencing an economic recovery as the go-to spot for having safe fun. The inconvenient truth is that New Orleans is overrun with felons. New Orleans is teeming with violent criminals. New Orleans is a city that needs a National Guard. So, to all good citizens of New Orleans, look at this case, let it shock your senses, let it spur you to action to defend yourself. Because sadly, unless you're wealthy, you cannot afford to have a police escort everywhere you go, nor can you afford to have a private security guard perform the same duty. All we have is our civil right of self-defense, and I promise you, some of you watching this video will find yourselves in a position to have to defend yourself or others. When that time comes, I pray that you are armed with far more than just good intentions.